So just wanted to reiterate, going back to a video I did about the fact that women are after power and they're jealous of man's power simply because the story of this whole thing has to do with the penis that represents power and the symbolic nature of what that is. It represents power. Man was made it was made from the creation of the creator, the ultimate creator, and so women are jealous of man's power. This is what the Garden of Eden story is all about. This is what the Jezebel spirit is all about. It has to do with women's nature. And when I say the word nature, I don't mean natural. I mean what they have been programmed with in this whole story. There's another side of this that doesn't make any sense, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Basically, what it is that the whole thing where it said that, woman was made from man's rib, that's a whole bunch of bunk. If the creator wanted to make woman, he would just make woman. He wouldn't need to tamper with another creation to make a creation. It doesn't make sense. And so that's why this story is flawed. Because what he's talking about in the Bible, in the occultic coded messages, what it's trying to say is that this whole thing where it says woman was taken from man's rib, that's DNA. He didn't take a fucking rib out of his body. It's symbolic of saying he took DNA and it was created. The woman is a completely separate creation than the female. The female, the woman was intended to be, that when we think about woman today, what we think about a woman is, the reason why things are so fucked up is because the woman is a different creation than what is intended. That's why when it said woman was made from man's rib, it's talking about DNA was taken and then a separate mutation was caused. A different creation was made than what the intended creation was supposed to be. This is where the serpent comes in. It's because it's symbolic of whatever this evil force is that is manipulating things here, and this is why women act the way that they act and why women today have a Jezebel spirit. A Jezebel spirit is basically the personality of the demonic character in the Bible, Jezebel. Now, the demonic character in the Bible, Jezebel, is just your modern-day woman. It's not a separate person. This is why women today, I made my video talking about sociopathic traits that women have in the modern-day dating scene. Same thing. It's all the same person. The reason why they exhibit this and why there's such a high quantity of these kind of characters is because the woman is a separate creation from what was intended to be. This is where the serpent comes in. This is where all this information starts to take place. It's a whole nother story. There was no such thing where a woman was created from man. Because then what would that mean? That would mean like man is the creator of woman. I don't believe that. I think that's a little bit too ridiculous. The ultimate creator, I think, which was the creation of man. This is why women are jealous of man's power, because it goes back to the Garden of Eden story. It has to do with the fact that women are made from a separate creation. Now, Angry MGTOW and I did a podcast one time, and we talked about how he mentioned that he said that, it was almost like there was some kind of manipulation that took place where basically, women were set off to go after men so that they could get to the creator. This whole thing where women are basically, the power that is used, the manipulation that they are keened with is of a quality that is not of any good, because we all know men, we've been around women, we know how manipulative they are. Women will take years and sometimes months in advance planning out a breakup, before they actually execute it. So they're planning and deceiving and manipulating. Those characteristics are not of any good. So the whole point of all that and this whole thing is that the reason why women have this whole thing is because they're jealous of man's power, and that, in my opinion, from the occult perspective, the woman is a completely separate creation from the man, because the devil is using the woman to get to the man, because the man knew that the woman was a gift, so to speak, to help him or aid him, or whatever you want to use the terms for it, to be submissive to man and serving out his purpose for whatever he was designed to do. But what happened was, because of this serpent in the Garden of Eden, just looking at this from an occult perspective, I'm just trying to explain this from an occult perspective that I've recently have understood it, kind of was doing some research and found some more information. But basically, this is where the serpent comes in, and so it was a manipulation. The woman is a different creation than what was intended to be. That's why it talks about this whole thing where it was like woman was taken from man's rib. Doesn't make sense why the Creator would have to do that from a man. Why wouldn't he just create woman? And why was the serpent in the Garden of Eden? These are questions I have, and this is kind of the conclusion I've come to. Woman is not of the same creation as what the Creator's intended. This is why women are so manipulative and cunning, because manipulative and cunning are characteristics of what you call the serpent or the snake. Smooth and slick, and slick, and gets around and manipulates and is sneaky. These are all characteristics of this. And this whole Jezebel spirit, the feminism and all this other stuff, the aborting of children, it has to do with the fact that the woman is not of the same creation from the Creator. Man is the creation directly from the Creator. Just curious. Let's just answer some. I'll just answer some questions because I'm trying to get you guys to understand this. Why does man seem to have this inherent good, better nature aside from women? Why is it that men carry themselves differently than women do, and why are women notorious and synonymous with deception and manipulation and being whores and assholes and exhibiting a lot of what you call evil characteristics? Why is it that men seem to have a little bit better upstanding than women do? And, here's another thing. There's this guy, his name is Pastor Darby. He made a few MGTOW videos. I decided to click on one of them. But as I was going through his channel, he made this video. I can't remember the name of the video. But he said that, everywhere in the Bible, it warns men of women. It warns men of women and their manipulation and what they do. But it doesn't. He said that it doesn't mention anywhere in the Bible that a woman has to be cautious of a man. Well, that's interesting. Why is that? It's because woman is of a different creation. Because the woman, I said the devil of this world is a woman because the woman is the inversion of man. There is another side that I believe this is, and it has to do with the planet Saturn and all that other stuff. If you don't know about that, you need to go look it up. It's to try to explain that to people who have no clue about that is really difficult. Go look it up, Saturn, and go look up some of the occultic stuff that's going on with that planet. There's a positive and there's a negative. There's a duality. We live in a duality. We're a duality as human beings. That's not how it's intended to be, but that's what we've been, that's kind of what has happened to us. So there's a good side and there's a bad side. This is what I talked about, this thing where it says, as above, so below. The real actual meaning behind that is what happens below what happens below is as it is above, or something like that. Basically, the underworld rules things here. That's just kind of what that whole saying is. But there's a positive and there's a negative. There's the underworld and then there's the above world. So there's a positive and a negative to everything. And this is where the whole energy and currency comes in to play when we're talking about money and things of this nature, okay? So there's a positive, there's a negative. There's a positive man, there's a negative female. The negative female is what we see going on today with the Jezebel spirit. And it's also this inherent evil that we see going on with women. But there's a whole other side to that. That has to do with the fact that women are not of the same creation as man. And this is where the serpent comes in, right? So basically there was some kind of DNA mutation from what these fallen angels are up to. And this is another thing where it said the fallen angels came down and bred with the women of earth. Well, fallen angels do not have genitalia. They're androgynous. So how in the world could they have sex with women if they're androgynous? Well, they did it via DNA mutation, which is why the woman is of a different creation, because the fallen angels came down and bred with the women of earth. It was not supposed to be like that. That's why women are inherently connected to what you would so-call evil behavior because of that interaction that happened. Way back in the Bible was talking about it, but it requires a new set of eyes to understand what it's really trying to say. And I just now recently learned about this. This is why I wanted to bring this up, because it's interesting. Makes a lot of sense, right? This whole Jezebel spirit thing that we see going on makes a lot of sense. Women are not of the same creation of what the Creator created as in man. Man was made from the Creator. That's why it doesn't make sense why women are so characterized in the Bible, where it says men are told to be warned of women. In the Bible, it said nothing about women being warned of men, but it specifically says, men, be careful of women. Why? Because they are not of the same creation, and the fallen angels came down and bred with the women of earth. But they didn't have sex with them like intercourse. They had DNA mutation. That's why the woman of this world's a devil. It has to do with the inversion. It has to do with the mutation, the differences. It's all about that. Most people will never come to that conclusion because it's complicated to understand. And you have to be shown the occult and different aspects of it, of people that really are in the know and do know what's going on with the planet Saturn and things of those nature. You have to be aware of those things. That's why you're in the know. When you know that stuff, you're in the know. Because this is why they don't want people looking into this kind of stuff. This is why people reject this stuff. This is why people, sometimes they get commenters that go, this is outrageous. This is like, what the hell are you talking about? It's because it's speaking a whole nother language they don't understand. You know, you have to go out and independently look at this yourself and have your own experience with it, because it's just not of this world. The occult is the study of unworldly things. Not meaning bad, but meaning not third dimensional. Because it has to do with that. It has to do with how, you see, this is where people get locked. When you start talking about things like, oh, well, there's another reality, there's different realities, and things here aren't just solid. Those people are dead. What the occultists call them as the dead, because they have, I mean, how deep do you rabbit hole do you guys want to go with this? I mean, let me just tell you guys a little something. Every bit of land that is owned in the United States is owned under cemetery law. That means that you can't just go back if your relative dies and bury him in your backyard. You can't do that. You have to go to a designated location, which is governed by the state and the government and all these other institutions, where there is a plot of land assigned to your body that you decide to bury. And this is where the whole thing comes from. It's like, oh, you're the Walking Dead. The TV show Walking Dead is a joke on you because you're living in the land of the dead. And we live in the underworld compared to the other parallel world. You know, there's two realities. There's multiple realities. I mean, let's just dive right into the rabbit hole. Let's just go right in. There are multiple realities, and they're different, and they interact. This is where the spirit world comes in, and the ghosts, and all the stuff that you hear about. That's what it's talking about, okay? But the Walking Dead is you. You are the Walking Dead because you live in the underworld. Now, whether you want to consider that we live in a version and division of hell, I would agree so, because of the way that things work here. This whole gay rights thing, you know, the gay rights has to do with the fallen angels, because the fallen angels are androgynous. And so this whole transsexual thing is about asexuality, which relates to the fallen angels because they're androgynous. This is why they couldn't have sex with the women of Earth, but they had DNA mutation of women on Earth, which is why women are of a different creation than man. This is why we see this Jezebel spirit. All women are the Jezebel spirit because of the fact that they're not of the same creation. This is why they're trying to replace women in modern day roles in the TV shows and in the movies and all this other stuff. Because they're trying to take over. And women, you know, there's a lot of, the Bible talks a lot about the sexual, the Bible is a sexual thing. Christ means Christos, which means oil or anointed. Anointed has to do with sperm. That's why there's a hole in the fucking vat. There was a hole in the fucking, when you go to confessional in the Catholic Church, because you're going to be anointed by the priest. That means it's sexual. It's bullshit. People are so fucking, you see why I don't like to talk about this? Because people are just they have no fucking clue on this earth what they are talking about. And let me tell you something. Some people they just will never get it because, you know, either they weren't were shown this information, or they were ignorant to it and they didn't want to talk about it because they didn't get it. It made them feel uncomfortable because they didn't understand what they were looking at. But I'm deviating, I'm just kind of going on a rant there because this stuff is it's hard to understand for some people, and some people just refuse to believe it, and that, you know, whatever. But going back to women, this whole thing that we see in the modern day dating scene, why is this that guys are going through such a big deal with women? Why are women such a pain in the ass? Why are they notorious for being in the Bible that says men... It tells men specifically to be careful of women. Why is that? Because they are not of the same creation. This goes back to the Garden of Eden story with the thing where it said the woman was made from man's rib. Well, the serpent was always in the garden to begin with. He was always there. And when man showed up, he was already starting to figure out how to get over man to get to the Creator to overthrow the Creator. And so what he decided to do was take a DNA from man's rib to go and create woman as a deception to get to man. The woman was never supposed to be what it is today. The woman is a creation of what the serpent character in the Garden of Eden and what that whole thing represents is used to get over man. I don't know if this is in the Bible or not. You know, forgive me because I'm not very literate in it, but from what I can understand, from what I've been shown, basically I think that there is something that says where woman is used to get, the serpent was tempting woman to get to man, to get to the Creator, because he knew that the man was wanting the woman. You know, I mean, if you really want to get crazy with it, you know, women have an XX chromosome. XX is the seal of Saturn. The seal of Saturn has to do with Saturn or Satan or the fallen angels. Women have an XX chromosome. That's the seal of Saturn. That means that there's a DNA mutation in women's DNA, which is why women have certain behavior patterns and characteristics like the Jezebel spirit, narcissism. Narcissism is an evil personality as far as I'm concerned. It's demonic. You ever met a narcissist? They're evil fucking people. I've worked with one. They, to certain degrees, they're willing to do whatever, and they don't give a shit about you. And they're very rude and absolutely demonic and evil in their personality. All those things are just demonic personalities that have, taken hold. Trust me, I've worked with one. I know how they are. They're fucking, you never want to meet one. They're absolutely the worst people you could imagine. But the personality of narcissism is quite an evil one. Women are very narcissistic today, and they exhibit the Jezebel spirit and all this other stuff. And it's to varying degrees. Some are worse of it than others, but regardless, it still is taking place to the point where guys are having problems with it and have had problems with it since the beginning of time. Why is it that this is the case? Why is it that the Bible warns men of women, but it does not warn women of men? Why is it that the Bible, it talks more about men than women? This whole thing between the hierarchical orders, man was made in the image of the Creator because that's what it's intended to be. The woman was never supposed to be in the picture like what we see today. It was not supposed to be of that because the woman is of a different creation. That's why the women have an XX chromosome. XX is the fucking seal of Saturn, for God's sake. What the hell is going on there? Women, the fallen angels came down and bred with the women of earth. They're androgynous. They can't have intercourse. They had DNA mutations of women. The woman of this world's a devil. This is where it says, like, the life is a bitch and then you die. This is where this whole women goddess worship comes in, with women wearing high heels and praise thee, woman. Every woman is holier than thou. And they're trying to put women in position of men in the media and all this other stuff. And in games and this whole female worship culture and all this other government bullshit, the divorce court, the marriage, the welfare, the all this stuff. It all ties in. It all makes sense now. The woman is not who you think she is. There's this book called The Devil. He is not who you think she is. I think that's what it's called, or vice versa. And it was, it basically went on to talk about how the devil of this world is a freaking woman. It would make sense, huh? Why? Just guys, why do women have all of these evil characteristics? Why do guys have so many problems with women? Why can't we just get along? Why the fuck is the sexes in particular between man and woman so fucked up? Why is this problem occurring? Why is it that this is such a big freaking deal and guys are having so much problem with it? Why is it specifically men and women that we always seem to keep coming back to and mentioning in this whole thing with what this issue is? Why is it that we have to keep coming back? Why is it always women? Why is it that women are the fucking problem here? Because women are not of the same creation. This is what the serpent was doing in the Garden of Eden. This is what this was all about. This is what the thing where it says woman was made for man's rib. That's what it's talking about. The woman is not of the same creation. It's a devious creation. It is of the devil. It is of the evil side. There's no reason why the women have XX chromosome. XX is the seal of Saturn. Why is it that the fallen angels come down and bred with women of Earth, and they're androgynous? I mean, all of this stuff. What is going on? Women are not of the same creation. That's why we're having so many problems with them. Men are from Venus, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. All of these things, these little phrases that we've heard. Venus is the planet Venus. Now, let me just give you guys a little insight here. The male symbol, like off of Austin Powers, you know, when he wears that necklace where it's the circle with the arrow pointing up, that's the symbol astrologically for Mars. Venus is the symbol for women, which is the circle with the cross inverted pointing down. That's the astrological symbol for Venus. Venus is known as the god of, in astrology, is known as the god of money, beauty, time, luxury, and things of that nature. Venus, the morning star. The morning star is the dawn of the new day, which has to do with Saturn, or synonymous with Satan. Do you see where I'm going with this? Go look up that. Go look up the Mars symbol and the Venus symbol for female and male. It does not make sense. Okay, this is what I'm trying to get at, that women are just not of the same creation. There was a deception that took place. That whole thing where it said, you know, the woman was used, or is used to get to man, to get to the Creator by tempting man, manipulating man. Women have manipulative behavior, cunning behavior. You know, women will plan out months in advance before they break up with the guy. They'll sometimes plan months, if not a year in advance, depending on the situation. They're manipulative. They're strategizing. They're conniving against man. Jezebel was known as the demon, or the synonymous with child abortion, and hating all of mankind. Mankind, if you want to look at it from two perspectives, mankind means the people of the earth. But a woman saying that mankind, well, that would mean herself. Now, she's talking about man as in men. The male sex, because it's synonymous with the Creator, because the Creator created man. I mean, we are directly a creation of the ultimate supreme man. I mean, that's just what it is. That's why women, and then in the media, they talk so much about how they hate men, because we are synonymous with the Creator, guys. Why is it that men are so intellectually more superior? We're stronger, we're faster, you know, we go out to war, we build the buildings, we do the things, we build the cities. That's the characteristics of the Creator, because that's why we do it. That's why we're above woman. So, just something to think about. Something to think about. I think women are of another creation compared to what the female. Why is it woman? You know, why is it that they say female? Why is woman said and not female said? Why is that? You know, it's just interesting. But I wanted to bring that up. A little occult perspective insight that I kind of just have been thinking about over the last couple weeks. So, you know, anyways, just wanted to bring that up. Hope everybody has a good one. Oh, and one other thing. If any of you guys, I don't know if I have any subscribers that play Xbox or anything like that. Oh, and by the way, I know what Xbox means. It has to do with the cube, which has to do with Saturn. X meaning the cube. So if you do know, before you say that I'm, you know, I know what it means. Okay, but I like playing video games. So, if anybody is interested in playing online, I might do a live stream just to change it up. So if you guys are interested, you know, hit me up a private message. Let me know if you're interested in doing something like that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Appreciate all the comments and stuff. I'm going to be answering a lot of comments tonight. So if I don't get back with you, I'll probably get back with you tonight. So appreciate it. Hope everybody has a good one.